Wednesday, April 1st. So, yeah, we made it to another month, and I guess it's April Fool's Day. Um, I'm not really much of an April Fool's Day fan, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I think we all wish we were in a state where this was all a joke that we're dealing with right now. Obviously, not the case, but yeah, I don't know. I'm a very, how do I say? I like to be in control of what's going on. I don't like things that are unpredictable necessarily, at least when it's happening to me. Um, so that I don't know, pranks, things like that, never been a huge appeal for me personally. But to each their own. I don't know if I had to live in an environment like the guys in Jackass, for example, always playing pranks on each other, even like in university, anything like that. Um, that would weigh on me after a little while. I'm just just not a fan of that sort of thing. But hey, again, to each their own. If you've got some funny pranks today, go ahead. I can only imagine those that really like pranking each other, living in close quarters with your friends, family, loved ones, whatever, or your spouse, obviously. That could be interesting. So I'm sure we're gonna get all sorts of fun footage on social media today of people pulling pranks on each other. So hey, do what you got to do, whatever works for you. Got some nice weather today, which is nice. It's been kind of shitty the last few days, so it's nice to get some sunlight. Still not gonna get too hot. I mean, they got this. I guess we have this idea is that hey, we're past the winter and it's just gonna get to like in the 20s every day now, but it's a slow climb. Even looking at the long term forecast, it's we get some sun for a few days and then it's gonna go back and be kind of shitty for a bit. And that's April for you, right? So it's unpredictable, but yeah, we'll go with it. Spending so much time with your kids at home obviously can be challenging and rewarding at the same time. What I'm finding is you start to realize little things about your kids that you never really had the chance to necessarily. And that sounds a little weird, but when you consider that, a lot of people are sending their kids off to school all day or daycare or whatever programs they're in, and they get home and they're pretty they're done mentally as far as I'm concerned. They just want to unwind, maybe watch some TV, and like it's hard for me to be too structured when they've been in a structured environment all day. And on top of if you have hockey practices, other sports, lessons they might be in. Maybe they're in Kumon or some sort of additional learning program, and you start to see like they're really on a tight schedule. They're always structured, and then all of a sudden, bam, no structure. Unless you're super adamant about keeping that structure, then that's completely up to you. But unfortunately, I mean, I just don't have the ability to do that. And we try different things here and there, different experiments and crafts and that sort, but you can't be on 24/7. That's just not realistic. So again, I have noticed a lot of interesting things about my own kid right off the bat. I mean, just their attitude towards how they're adapting to this whole situation. When I first started, when this first started and we were doing more video calls, things like that, my daughter didn't seem all that interested. She'd just kind of stare at the screen, have her face right to it, or leave it, or forget what was going on. And now she's actually having some conversations with people, which is super interesting. But I think a lot of it has to do with kids are so used to, at least my kid, and I could speak for a lot of them actually, they're so used to watching like videos and things on like kids YouTube or anything like that, whether it's a game or anything. It's very like, look at these things that are happening, and that sounds kind of weird, but let me break it down. So for example, had two calls yesterday. I think it was yesterday. It might have been Monday. I can't remember anymore. One with her grandma or her nana, and one with her aunt. The one with her Nana was not as structured. It's like, hey, how are you? Good, good. Just said good like for everything, pretty much. Talked a bit, and then just like left the conversation and hung up on her. But the next call she did with her aunt, she had her kitty with her, and they're talking about her kitty, and she was so in tune with what was going on at the time because there was like a more of a purpose to it, as weird as that sounds. So something I definitely noticed, and I actually started doing some experiments at home to see if I can get that sort of behavior where she's engaged in what's going on. And that's what led me to last weekend. We did a little bit of an arts and crafts session at home, and we decided to make puppets. So this is the puppet I created. It's pretty derpy looking. Its name is Scraggle Cat, as you can tell. I mean, what else would you name something so stupid looking? But I tried this out last night with her bedtime routine, and I had amazing results. What I did is I kind of took a page out of what I've seen on shows like Storybots or Sesame Street, for example, where they have the puppet essentially ask questions about what you're doing and how to do them properly. And she was so adamant about doing these things properly, from brushing her teeth to doing her, getting into her jammies, getting, doing, reading a book, all the activity that we typically try to or struggle to get her to do in sequence sometimes was so easy with this cat. The difference is I had to make a voice for it. Scrabble Cat is a real wild card, I gotta say, but it worked so well. So I'm taking orders on if you want your own Scraggle Cat. They're gonna be $100 a piece, and no, I'm just joking, obviously. But I would suggest making a puppet if you're if you've got a kid that's kind of in that range. My daughter's 4. You got to be in that innocent zone, I suppose, where they don't find it lame. And are willing to sort of validate their knowledge with it. So I'm going to push it a little bit more and see what else I can get her to, not necessarily do, but like, I'm just curious to see where this goes, as far as just her trying to validate her learning to show someone else. I think kids like that. As a person, I'm like that, actually. I like to, even at a new job or anything, I like to be able to teach people how to do certain things, and that helps me validate my knowledge base. So, yeah, it's interesting for sure. Another thing that I couldn't help but notice, obviously, it's probably the biggest pain for myself, and I assume other parents are going through this as well. Feeding your kid. My God, she doesn't like anything anymore, and from one day to the next, it changes. And I mean, that's kind of typical behavior for most kids, but at least when she was at her Montessori school, there was she had a more, what's the word I'm looking for? She had a much bigger, or a larger array of foods to eat from. Because they have a schedule. It's like, this day we're having chicken, and this day we're having fish, and we're gonna have like vegetables with it and all this stuff. I mean, my daughter loves vegetables, don't get me wrong, which is great. She doesn't eat any protein. She won't eat meat anymore. She definitely won't eat fish. I mean, she'll eat hot dogs, which is, I don't know. I mean, I don't really want to feed her hot dogs, but if that's the only meat I can get in her, then so be it. It becomes kind of a necessity. We are giving her protein shakes in the morning, ones that are good for kids. So that helps, but it's very frustrating. So, I mean, when I'm making meals, I have to get her attention, make sure she's actually paying attention to me, and be very adamant about, okay, I'm going to be cooking this. Do you want this? Yes or no? No. Okay, what would you like? I don't know. Well, what about this, that, and the other? And then you find yourself on repeat, like just like the same 3 meals she eats all week long. So it is what it is. Thank goodness I can make bread now, because peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are definitely on the list daily. So, you got to do what you got to do, and at least there's some protein in the peanuts. And we don't buy any of that sugary stuff, let me tell you. Only the straight up, no sugar added peanut butter. And actually, anyone who's going to be a new parent or is a fairly new parent, use that stuff from the get-go. Don't get them hooked on this craft or this sugary garbage. You know how sugar's in those peanut butters? It's really hard to get them to go from that to like a natural peanut butter. Here I am giving all these weird tips on parenting now, but trust me, do it early on so that they don't even know the difference, and you'll thank me later when they're not all jacked up on sugary peanut butter every day. All right? Yeah. Another thing that really comes to mind, spending so much time with my kid, is the people that did spend all the time with my kid must be going through withdrawals. So like teachers and ECE and anyone, daycares and all that were with these kids every day and got to know their personalities and looked forward to, the situations or the things that they would say and learn. And, anyone who is a teacher, especially with the younger kids, must really be feeling that right now and going through withdrawals. So, I mean, I feel bad for anyone who's in that situation. A lot of people are dealing with different things, of course, not being at work or just having a very different routine in general. But that can't be easy because that would not be something that I would enjoy. That's for sure. And like even people that are divorced or separated, man, that's got to be tough. I mean, there's always situations where perhaps one of the parents kind of left and it was kind of a deadbeat. That's not going to affect them. But those that have separated, that both are very involved in their children's lives, I got to feel for them, because you can't just like, all right, now it's daddy's turn, now it's mommy's turn. You can't do that right now. You got to pick a side, essentially, and stay there. And yeah, you can do virtual meetings and stuff like that, but that's not the same. That's not quality time, and that can't be easy. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of depression looming from different people, from coworkers to family to you name it. And it's that something like that, not being able to see your kid, would be really tough. So really feel for anyone dealing with a situation like that. And on the side of depression, I mean, I couldn't see myself, or I mean, I've lived in condos and apartments and stuff like that for years. I know what it's like. But in a situation where I had to stay home constantly, that would be really tough. Also, the elevator rides would not be something that I'd be all that fond of, to be honest. I mean, I'd just be a nervous wreck. I mean, I have a dog and have to constantly, go up and down and up and down, at least 3 times a day, 2 if you're lucky. And that can't be easy. You just have all these interactions with people in close quarters in the elevators. Maybe there's policies in place right now. I don't really know, but that can't be easy to do or to have to deal with every day. But yeah, we'll get through this, and that's all I can say, really. I mean, just keep being cautious and washing your hands. Don't touch your face when you're in the elevator or outside or anything like that. And wear a mask if you can, and you'll be fine. On the COVID-19 front, it looks like by the end of the week, I'd be really surprised if we didn't have over 1 million cases. When I was looking at some data about COVID-19, these early projections, that sort, a lot of health experts were saying we'd probably at the end of this have 1 million cases, and about a 10% fatality rate. And we're definitely trending towards the 1 million cases. And then on top of that, of the active cases, how many of them are gonna turn into fatalities? Yet to be seen. I think we'll probably be at like 50,000 by the end of today. Now I don't know what I haven't really been following what's going on in Europe too much. I mean, just kind of looking at the numbers, and Spain's really getting it hard right now. I mean, I assume it has to do with the similar situation that happened in Italy. High population density, an older demographic, a lot of people living in the same in the houses or the same apartments, stuff like that. I don't really know. I'm just like throwing things out there. But I mean, I'm seeing similar trends, so I assume it's a similar situation. I'm going to look into it today. If anyone has any info to share on what's going on with Spain, I'd love to know. Feel free to share it on my post here. But yeah, it's definitely starting to pick up there every day. The U.S. got close to 25,000 cases yesterday, so that's steadily increasing. And yeah, we're not gonna get through this anytime soon. So I mean, hold on and stay safe and make sure you're taking the proper precautions on a daily basis and only going out if you need to. And if you are going out, make sure you're not touching your face at all. Like at all. As soon as you get in, make sure you're washing your hands. Maybe change if you need, if that makes you feel any better. Yeah, you be the judge, but just be smart about what you're doing, of course. On a lighter note, I mean, I don't like to end my podcast with being doom and gloom and that sort of thing. And I actually touched on a little less politics than I normally do and didn't get too heated about it, which is nice for a Wednesday. Last Wednesday I was super depressed, so this is definitely a step up. So today I was planning to do Retro Wednesday. So essentially watching an old movie, maybe something I haven't seen or I've only seen bits and pieces of, and so I'm probably going to do that tonight. Although last night I did do the No Tech Tuesday, and my wife and I got into a puzzle. It's like a 1,000-piece puzzle, so it's pretty intense. It's all over my kitchen table right now. So I don't know that I can just like sit and leave that there. So what I'm thinking is maybe just bring in my laptop and watch a movie in the background while we do the puzzle. I'll probably have to stick to something like a comedy. I'm thinking of doing Idiocracy. I haven't seen it in a long time, and I don't really think I've seen the full movie. I'm well aware of it. I know the concept. I know who's in it. I know bits and pieces of it. But it's really appropriate for these times, and I think it's hilarious. So I think I might give that a go, or something similar. Also, what I'm starting today is a burpee challenge. So I told you guys about doing the push-up challenge. I did 100 push-ups for 10 days in a row, and then I took my 3 days off. So I'm back on today. However, I did see this burpee challenge, which is 100 burpees a day for an entire month. Considering it's April 1st, I'm just gonna try it and see how long I can do it before my body shuts down and tells me it hates me. But yeah, I think I'll get a much better full body workout from it. As opposed to just doing push-ups. Push-ups does work a lot of muscles, but not nearly as many as a burpee would. So I'm going to give this a go. I encourage anyone else to try it out with me, and we'll take some before and after shots. We can get on a Zoom meeting and do that together if you want. But yeah, we'll try it out. Why the hell not, right? As you can see, I got rid of my fort in the background. I have my loft space back again, which is nice. So I've got plenty of room for activities and exercising. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped for it. But that's the show for today. And everyone keep staying safe and doing your thing. And don't forget, treat your